trigger warning, this podcast talks about pedocriminality and incest. Paris, France, September 15th, 2002. I'm back from school. It's night time before homework. On the radio, Michel Berger. In the decrepit beige kitchen next to a Communist Party poster, my grandmother calls me, "My little boy!" She confuses me with my sibling. I like that she calls me that. Being a little boy means a lot to me. Grandma is making Van Houten hot powder chocolate, my favorite. It's the one that makes lumps. I dip in a processed madeleine covered in jam. Suddenly I ask her, what is the music we hear outside? It's the sound of war, she answers. Like someone who feels in her body what war creates. Biting into the Madeleine, I had no idea that I would hear this siren 18 years later. And this time, it won't be a drill. Stepanakert, Nagorno-Karabakh, in the middle of the mountains between Armenia and Azerbaijan, October 10th, 2020. Armenia and Azerbaijan have been at war since the fall of the Soviet Union. Everyone wants Nagorno-Karabakh, a territory that wants its autonomy. Boom. The bombing launched by Azerbaijan begins. Boom. Full blackness over the city. The inhabitants, the Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh, are hiding in the bunkers. Opaque silence. I'm in a downtown hotel in the hallway, lying on a mattress on the floor. I did not take off my bulletproof vest, nor my shoes to sleep. This is the first conflict I cover. A colleague asks me if I don't want to keep my helmet on. I go down the winding staircase towards the basement. Someone says, "Don't run." In the entrance hall, everything is glazed. Boom. A white lightning takes over the sky. Time stops. In the distance, I hear The White Paradise, Michel Berger's song. I remain frozen. Inside of me, something feels familiar. I have already felt these bombs that destroy everything on their path. They had already exploded, long time ago, inside of me, without leaving a trace. Without transition, I also said to myself, if I survive this, when I return to Yerevan, I will go to the sauna. Everyone plays down a situation as much as they can. Everything is illuminated by Constant Léon.
On se prend en photo sur cette place historique en ce jour désormais historique.
When I arrive in Armenia, it's right after a revolution. In 2018, Armenians peacefully extricated the oligarchs in power since the fall of the USSR.
Un peu à l'écart, un vieux militaire en grande tenue, bardé de médailles.
Ça fait plus de 25 ans peut-être que j'attendais ce jour-là.
At that moment, war seemed abstract to me. Overnight, I start learning Russian and Armenian. I don't know much about this country. I remember my grandfather reciting poems to me in Russian, the second language since the Soviet Union. During my childhood, my mother used to tell me in details all the stages of the Armenian genocide committed by Turkey in 1915, a genocide still unrecognized by Turkey, a current ally of Azerbaijan. It's a spring day. In the distance, I hear music coming from the Armenian Genocide Memorial, which I'm close to. In my first solo apartment, my first bedroom, to oneself. I'm slumped on a Persian rug that covers my couch. This is where everything was illuminated. This afternoon, I'm watching the film Les Chatouilles, The Tickling.
Odette?
Oui.
The family friend plays with dolls with the little Andrea Bescon. Tickling, that's the word people use to talk about child rape. I see Roger, my grandfather.
Il est beau ton dessin.
Boom. Imagine that you drank too much coffee. The blood pulses in your temples, you grit your teeth, you bite the inside of your mouth. You want to concentrate, but everything gets tangled up. You can't hear anything anymore.
Vous savez, on n'est pas libéré d'une telle expérience seulement en livrant son secret.
I survived an incest I forgot about for 17 years. Tu n'es pas un monstre.
T'es pas un monstre.
You're not a monster.
T'es pas un monstre.
Roger is not a monster. Roger chose to dominate a child's body at hand. At the moment of the incest, I absorbed a part of Roger. His guilt, his shame. This is not mine. I feel like Frankenstein, a stillborn, a being who had a short period of life before incest, killed, patched up with scattered pieces of skin, then resurrected with a thunderclap. In my body, I buried the precise moment when I survived incest. That's how trauma works. It's not the event that causes the trauma, but my reaction. The negligence, the indulgence in the face of violence, all this context makes the bed of trauma. The incest gets stuck in the throat. The trauma constantly replays itself. This is what psychologist Muriel Salmona calls traumatic amnesia. Why traumatic? Because there is a first layer, incest, then a second layer, the fact of having forgotten, which is a trauma in itself. I forgot. You forgot, but in fact everything is stored elsewhere. The memory full of the sensations of the trauma is not stored in the right place. Incest is recorded in my brain as a short circuit, in the part of immediate memory that you use to record your shopping list. Pâte à pizza, shampoo, pack of marshmallow, Kewpie, sponge. What? In the aisle of the supermarket where everything is done so that you forget where you are, you grab the pack of marshmallow. You can already imagine their delicious, soft consistency on your tongue. Suddenly, you drop the marshmallow on the frozen floor. You are 5 years old, as if it were yesterday. It's not a marshmallow you have in your hand, but the genitals of an older man. You are in charmed pajamas, with fringe, in a squeaky bed, and you don't understand why you are both in the supermarket and you are 5 years old. You come out of the supermarket, you feel as if a truck ran over you. Either you fall asleep immediately, like during discussion groups, either you drink liters of alcohol or take drugs. You would like to explode with anger, but it's not polite. So you dissociate, you cut yourself in two, the one that survives and the other who died inside.
Tu vas tout oublier.
You will forget everything. You will forget everything. I feel suffocated by Yerevan that merges with the city where I grew up. I'm at the same time very far and too close to the car horns. Unable to concentrate. I live for days like in a padded diving suit. Paris, France, June 23rd, 2019. I returned to France urgently for treatments. I feel a permanent hypervigilance, as if a war threatened to break out permanently. I swell, I have acne, hypothyroidism. I feel like a monster who invents false memories. To pass the time, I have a sort of playlist on loop. Stress and cortisol, then shots of calming hormones, depression and boredom when the chorus is over. When a new partner comes in my life, it's Michael the Night on repeat. As a result, I spend months crying over and over in a drama, and besides, in real life, he ends up ghosting me. Family site, opaque silence. At the annual family meal, a sword of Damocles threatens to fall on our plates. Everyone knows it's there. It floats in the air. Everyone feels it. Nobody talks about it. Do you see the elephant? Oh no. No. Do you see the elephant? Oh no.
This is the culture of incest, where those around it choose to reproduce or suppress the violence.
When I try to put the subject back on the agenda, it's an outcry. Frankenstein must be banished from the family. Pain is not your identity. Identity is only a part of you. Not all adults are incestors. You're rebuilding your self-confidence, rebuilding remembrance out of oblivion.
Cut the incest with an axe.
On the plane going back to Armenia, you read The Body Keeps the Score. You read that all your symptoms are means of survival. It comforts you. In the morning, I look at myself in the mirror with tenderness. All these pieces of me form the same person. This person has a new name. Constant. Yerevan, Armenia, August 2nd, 2022. Mount Ararat soothes me on cloudy days. The mountain symbol of Armenianness reminds me of an amputated limb that is now in Turkey. A phantom member with whom we learn to live. A ghost only I can see. You begin to dance with your ghost to return to your body. You enjoy yourself. Adèle Haenel is a French actress who survived child sexual abuse by a director. She was also the one who gave the finger to the privileged white people on the César, the French Oscars, leaving the room. I drink her words.
Monsters don't exist. It's too easy to say it's monstrous. Look at yourself.
How is it possible that pedocriminality exists? What is our collective responsibility against this crime?
Monsters don't exist. It's our society, our friends, our fathers. This is what we need to look at.
Let's all take our responsibilities in our relationships, acknowledging our own violence. We need to look at ourselves. I took my time to understand that in my turn I had committed violence towards my loved ones. I constantly ran away from conflict and saw aggression everywhere, leaving no space for complexity and paradox that sparkle from contacting the different other. I said to myself that patriarchy takes shape in our actions and our disconnections from others. Stepanakert, Nagorno-Karabakh, August 15, 2019, near the glass hotel from which I will witness the shelling a year later. I walk with Saro, a guy from Shushi, where I spend a lot of time. He says that Napoleon was also Armenian. I take this opportunity to tell Saro, you know, I'm a trans guy. He looks at me. What else have they invented in the West? I am about to dissociate, but I resist. I say to my body, stay. Since Saro likes me, he says nothing. In Armenian, they say tsavatanem. It means I take your pain, literally. Without saying anything, I believe that the Armenians recognized what I mean by pain. They carry one for generations, that of wars, of genocide. Their humanity denied. Tsavatanem. This expression has become like a meme on the internet. You use it in all cases. Its original meaning has morphed into something else. For example, you say tsavatanem when your friend did you a favor. Tsavatanem painted in color on the back of cars. It's a sentence of pain that has entered everyday life as a kind of a joke. Very dark humor. We walk in silent Saro and I in the street of Stepanakert, shrouded in fog. The white paradise again. Saro then offers me to meet the village witch. She lives in a small white wooden shack. Inside, the walls of her house are covered with family photos, the ghosts that watch over her.
The witch introduces them one by one. She speaks a little French.
We sit at a small table covered with candles and a scarf. She serves me hot chocolate with lumps. The witch looks me straight in the eyes. My darling, Tavatanam, what do you need to move on? With the same gesture, she sits down to draw my cards. I needed to meet you, I answer her. The witch then said to me, you know now what you're made of. You'll be able to create from now on. Everything is illuminated by Constant Léon. Music and production, Tammam Hamza. A Friction podcast.